Hello, math students. Welcome back to our module on linear equations. This is lesson 15, and it is called the slope of a non-vertical line. The goal for today we will discuss what slope is, how it is determined, and how to check it. The question that I want you to think about in this lesson is, what does slope mean, and is there a specific way to remember it? All right, so we need to talk about some things to know. For a long time, we've been working on concepts that have multiple names. And we'll take you back to 7th grade math when you were thinking about unit rate. Another name for unit rate is constant. Another name for constant is the letter M. And so today, actually, you're going to learn another name for that specific thing. But let's talk about multiple names for a minute. How many names do you have? Okay, I have at least 5. I have Aaron, I have Aaron Lee, I have Aaron Lee Nelson, I have Mrs. Nelson, I have Mom. I have plenty of names that describe me, and so as you can see, there's lots of different names that represent this one person, your teacher, right? So I have a feeling that you probably have the same thing where there are multiple names for you that people know you by. Well, in math, we have the same thing. So it says math has specific parts that have multiple names too. The thing that we need to focus about in this lesson is the steepness or the slant of a line has many names. The steepness or the slant of a line can be called the rate of change, sometimes known as unit rate. That's what we've been calling it. So the rate of change is the unit rate, okay? It also can be the word slope. So slope also means unit rate. Unit rate also means rate of change. It can also be called M. So we have unit rate, we have slope, we have M, we have constant, we have rate of change. It also can be represented by the fraction rise divided by run, which means how much do you go up divided by how much do you go left or right. And so those are all of the different ways that we are going to find the unit rate or the rate of change. There are some very specific things to remember about rate of change, slope, unit rate, constant, M, all of those being the exact same thing, and their directions, okay? And so what I'm talking about with their directions is which way does the line go? So ways that describe rate of change, which is also known as the slope, which is also known as the unit rate, which is also known as the constant, which is also known as the M, we need to be able to visually identify what the slope of a line will be. So I got these little pictures and they're kind of fun to see, but this is called a negative slope. And the way that you have to remember a negative slope is that the line is going down. So if the line is going down, it's called a negative slope, and numerically what it's going to be represented by, so if I look at this one in particular, I have this point and I have this point. So what that means is I went up 2, so I go up 2, but this time it says that I'm going to the left 2. So that would be a up 2 divided by negative 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, a positive divided by a negative. So I actually get a slope of negative 1. So as you can see, a negative slope is going to have a negative sign attached to it because it means that you're going down. Okay, now let's look at the positive slope and see if something is different. Positive slope, you notice the little guy is going up the hill, okay? And so what we have to do to describe a positive slope is we're going to take 2 points and talk about what we did. So in this one, I went up 2, so I go up 2 on this one, and I go to the right 2, so it's positive. 2 divided by 2 equals 1. So this is a positive slope because the number is positive. This is a negative slope because the number is negative, okay? And now, if you look at this one, this is an undefined slope. And if you go back to yesterday's lesson, we learned that an undefined slope or a vertical line means that the y value equals 0. And if you look at this, did we end up going up or down at all? Nope, we sat on 0, and here is our point. And so we never did. But then what we see right here is that your position on the graph on this one would be that the x value is always equal to, in every instance of this line, if I'm reading it carefully enough, that would be 1, -2. So this would be a -2. So the undefined slope means that your y value has 0, and then you're always going to sit at a -2. So that's how you find the undefined. Undefined means that you go up and down. So this is also known as vertical slope. Okay, vertical slope is also another name for undefined slope. Okay, zero slope, on the other hand, means that your line is flat. It doesn't slope at all. It doesn't change height at all. It's always at 0. And so if you have 0 slope, that means no matter where it falls, it doesn't increase in the height at all. And so if we look at this, every point on here is the exact same height, which is 0. Nothing is there. Okay? And so this one is when x equals 0, so there's no height, 0 height, right? And then the y on this one in particular, it looks like it is sitting at the -1 every single time. And so this is a horizontal line. And so now you know that a horizontal line always has 0 slope, right? And you know that a vertical line always has an undefined slope. We can't figure it out because it's straight up and down. There's no definition to it. Okay, this one has a positive slope of 1, and this one has a negative slope of -1. And so hopefully you can start to picture what these pictures mean. A negative slope means that you're going downhill from left to right. You're going downhill. From left to right on a positive slope, you're going up. Undefined slope means that you're not going up or down. You're just undefined. We don't know what's happening to the slope. It's straight up and down. And zero slope means there's no slope. There's no height change. The elevation or the height on every single point is exactly the same. So it's 0 slope. It doesn't change at all. Okay? So those are the 4 different ways that we have to describe our slopes. And remember, slope is the same as rate of change. Slope is the same as your unit rate. Slope is the same as your m. So that m value is what helps you determine the line. If the m has a negative value, it's called a negative slope. If the m has a positive value, then it's a positive slope. If m is a straight up and down line, that means it's an undefined slope. If m goes horizontally straight across, then you know that's a 0 slope. Okay? And so these are the directions that slopes slant. Okay, that's a very important term that you need to know. These slopes are determined by the sign of the slope. So in a negative slope up above, we have m equals -1. In this one, we have m equals 1. In this one, we have undefined at all. So the m would mean that you have a 0 value up there. So remember that a vertical line is when your value up above is 0. So that means the x would be 0. So your m would be undefined. Undefined is what we write. And then on this one, the m actually equals 0. Okay? And so that's how you're able to find them to figure out the different types of lines. So going back to our goals for today, today we will discuss what slope is. Slope is how the line moves. Does it go in a positive direction, negative direction, undefined direction, which means vertical, or horizontal direction, which means 0 slope? How is it determined? You determine it, I forgot to mention this, actually I didn't, I actually showed you. To determine it, you use this, rise over the run. So from one point on the graph to another point on the graph where it actually touches all the grid lines, you have to tell me what happens. So I went up 2 and I went to the left 2. So up 2 and then I went to the left 2. That's why I have a -2 sitting right there. And then you have 2 divided by -2 gives you a -1. So you use the rise divided by the run. Everybody say that with me. Slope is determined by rise divided by run. Okay? And then how to check it is you just plug it in along the lines and see if you did it. So I go up 2, to the left 2, up 2, to the left 2, up 2, to the left 2, up 2, to the left 2. And every time I do that action, I should be sitting on the line. And if you look at it, every single point, you went up 2 and to the left 2, up 2 and to the left 2. Every point on the up 2 to the left 2 sits on the same line. Okay, if I do it on this one, same thing. it says that I go up 2 to the left 2, 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 up 2 to the left 2. Every time I did up 2 to the left 2, I actually am sitting on a point on the line, okay? And that's how you check it. All right, on a undefined slope, you can't go up 2 or to the left anything, right? Because you're in the same spot. So I guess you could go up, but you're not going to the left or right, so you don't have anything. That's what makes it undefined. And on this one, you would go 0 because it says, okay, I went up 0 and I went to the right 1. Well, up 0 to the right 1, so 0 divided by 1 is 0. 0 divided by 2 is 0. 0 divided by 3 is 0. So that's how you come up with 0. But this one, we could go up 5, but we go nowhere, so 5 divided by 0, right? So let's look at it. If I start right here, and I move up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm sitting right there, so I go up 5, but did I go to the left or the right at all? No. What does no mean in math? 0. So 5 divided by 0, when you type that into the calculator, it's going to read this word called error. And so whenever you see an error, that means that your slope is undefined because you can't divide by 0. Okay? So that's how we explain that. All right, kiddos, what does slope mean, and is there a specific way to remember it? Slope means how the line changes as it goes. Up 2 to the left 2, that means it's going up, but it's going backwards, so it's a negative slope. Up 2 to the right 2, that means it's going in the positive direction. Undefined, and then horizontal or 0 slope. So that's how you're able to find those. Specific way to remember it is I always go like this. You just say that y equals mx plus b. Your slope is that guy. So you're just, again, talking about those multiple names. The m is the slope, okay? And if you can't find the m, then you just have to set it up. Like in standard form, we turn it into slope-intercept form, and then you can find the m, okay? All right, kiddos, that's all I have for you in this lesson. Talk to you soon. Bye.